From news and views, issues and opportunities, we'll have in-depth conversations with decision makers to find out what they know and what they think. I'm Rico Hizon, inviting you to join the exchange because your business is our business. From Olympic gold medalist Hidilyn Diaz to pole vault sensation EJ Obiena.
Oh yes!
US Open Juniors champ Alex Eala. Filipino athletes have bannered the flag on the world stage. Officials must help keep the momentum through sports programs. But what are the stakes to support a future international sports grade? And what will it take for our athletes to leap to greater heights? It's also game on for sports management groups to make sure athletes experience the payoff from their hard work. The vision of business in sports in our C-suite vision. It takes a village to build a winning athlete, and in the country, more help is needed from the government. What are the plans of the Philippine Sports Commission? Let's now have an exchange with the newly appointed chairman, Noli Eala. Noli, thank you so much for joining us. You have just taken over as PSC chair. It's only been 3.5 weeks. From your assessment, are our athletes given enough support to raise our flag in important local and international competitions?
You know, I think the government is very sincere in its intent to really support our athletes, Rico, and I think we're doing everything that we can to do that. Of course, there are priorities in the national budget. There are priorities in the national expenditure program, and we understand that you know, there are things that are more, I guess, important at this time. But of course, sports as part of my legacy is something that I want to put in the national narrative as part of nation building. And I think this is my hope that sports will become truly a priority of government, and it will be given enough funding so that we can really have a very vibrant and effective sports program.
All right, let's take a look at your programs. What are your priorities? What is on your wish list, Noli, to improve our athletes in the local and global stage?
Well, you know, essentially, when we look at the program, it has to be based on our mandates, and our mandates are taken from our Constitution. And it's very, very simple. The Constitution states that we shall promote physical education and encourage sports programs, including international training for international competition. So it's very clear that our mandate is to widen participation in the grassroots and support our elite athletes. This is the cornerstone of our programs now. We will continue, but we will make it a more responsive program in terms of the grassroots. We're tapping into a wider support base, which will include various agencies that will be included in a National Sports Development and Promotion Council, where we hope to include the Department of Education, the DILG, the LGUs, and a lot of the national sports associations. In our elite program, we're looking to reinvent, retweak the Ginto Ally program that will leverage and harness private sector support so that we can provide more enhanced training for our elite athletes, particularly those that are participating in the high-level competitions, including the Southeast Asian Games, the Asian Games, and the Olympics in 2024. So this is part of a consolidated program that we're now laying out, and hopefully we will roll this out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but of course, to roll out all of these programs for our athletes, you need money, you need funding. How much more money do you need to be able to fund these specific initiatives that you're talking about?
Well, we certainly need a lot more funding. First of all, what has been given to us is, what is usually given to the Philippine Sports Commission. But we're asking for about 1.4 billion pesos more to fund our grassroots projects, to fund our international training for the 6 or 7 international competitions for next year. And we're hoping to tap into more resources to help get advanced research, advanced training equipment for our elite athletes that will compete in the Paris Olympics. So when you look at the total program that we have, obviously what we have right now is very small. Rico, I'll just give you an example. No, and back in 2013, and things have really changed since then. But back in 2013, a country like Thailand was spending about 13.6 billion on their sports program, compared to the Philippines that was spending about 180 million. This is only on the government appropriations. And today, our government appropriations is about 218 million. So it's not far from the 2013 level. And you can see the disparity in terms of what has been allocated to us. We're also, of course, hoping that we can improve and increase our what we're getting from the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation and the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, including customs and Philracom. So all of these are needed to make sure that funding comes in for sports development.
Are there specific sporting disciplines, Noli, that you're focusing on, that you're zeroing in, that can, of course, give greater glory to the country in international competitions?
I would rather not. No, I'd rather really allocate a lot of my at least my general funds to many of the emerging sports. No, but I think it is necessary, even if I don't want to, that we should provide support for sports and athletes that have a very clear trajectory towards an Olympic medal, and that's why we're focusing on these elite athletes. No, and we're talking about really weightlifting, boxing, which has been very, very productive.
Right.
Track and field through EJ Obiena. We're also looking at swimming because we have a very good athlete in Kayla Sanchez. Karate, or the combat sports, which includes Juna Chukii, who's a World Games gold medalist. And of course, the sport of many people would love, to see a medal in, which is track and field. No, so again, these are the gymnastics. Rather, gymnastics is another area which I feel we need to put more funds, because Kaloyulo has a clear path towards at least one, if not two or three gold medals in the Olympics. So elite training is important, but I'm still supporting a lot of our emerging sports.
What about private sponsors, Noli? How important are they as well in supporting your programs? Are we getting enough support from the private sector, from private sponsors?
Right now, no. I think we need more support from the private sector. There are certain groups that have been supporting on their own particular programs. I think there has to be an institutional program for private sector funding, which is the reason why I'm trying to reactivate the program of Gintong Alay, and hopefully that will now give a pathway for private sector to come in and support not only specific athletes, but programs like nutrition, programs like research, infrastructure, athletes' welfares and incentives. These are things that are important for the total development of our athletic program.
Thank you so much for this Philippine Sports Exchange. Newly appointed Philippine Sports Commission Chairman, Noli Eala. And now here's a rundown of this week's top business stories. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas hikes key interest rates to 4.25%, while the United States Federal Reserve delivered a new massive rate hike of 0.75 of a point. The Asian Development Bank raises its inflation forecast for the Philippines this year. The regional lender expects consumer prices to rise by 5.3% on average in 2022 instead of 4.9% in July. And Dito Telecommunity passed its third performance audit. The National Telecommunications Commission found that the third telco player delivers minimum average broadband speeds of 71.77 megabits per second or for 4G and 801.19 Mbps for 5G. And straight ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. What help do professional athletes need to reach their full potential? Basketball player Carl Tamayo joins us next. And we go behind the spectacle of sports and explore the workings of management agencies. We'll have an exchange with the CEO of the virtual Playground Sports Management Group. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can trust. Glad you're staying with us right here on The Exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. From long training hours to funding their tournaments, athletes go through many challenges for a chance at glory. What can the public and private sector do to help chart the course towards the finish line? We now have an exchange with rising basketball star Carl Tamayo of the UAAP champions, the UP Fighting Maroons. Carl, maraming salamat for joining us. Nanalo ka na ng mga basketball championships sa lahat ng mga levels. Juniors, seniors, at saka international level. Anong training ay yung ginagawa para mahasa ang basketball skills mo?
Siguro, parang ginagawa ko lang yung routine ko. Consistently, I'm doing the same routine every time. Kasi yun naman yung basketball. Basketball is about consistency sa craft mo, paano mo siya trabahuin. So I think yun yung training ko. I'm being consistent on my craft, my workouts.
And of course, you've been playing basketball since you were a kid, Carl. Anong hirap and challenges did you face growing up in playing basketball?
Siyempre maraming challenge din. First doon is yung malayo ako sa family ko. 13 years old ako, nakipagsaparalan din ako agad sa Maynila para makatulong sa pamilya ko. So nalayo agad ako sa pamilya ko. And then, second is the studies.
Yes.
Paano may balance yung pagiging athlete in studies ko. So thinking yung mga bagay na challenges sa akin. Tapos yung iba naman po is yung challenges sa court. Kung ano yung mga bagay na kailangan mo gawin or kailangan mo improve to be able to be effective sa court or makakatulong pa sa team.
And of course, pressure on the court, particularly if you are in a championship match. UP versus Ateneo in the last UAAP championship, and UP won its first title in 36 years. How do you handle pressure?
For now, syempre yung pressure talaga na sa amin kasi di-defend namin yung title. Pero Coach Gold is guiding us naman na just trust the process. And, bigay lang lahat ng makakaya namin sa game. Maging competitive lang kami. And kung ano maging resulta nun, as long as binigay namin lahat ng makakaya namin, harapin namin yun, magiging masaya po kami dun. Kung ano po maging resulta sa pagbigay po ng best namin this upcoming season 85.
And of course, your parents, Carl, are athletes as well. Your dad was a former basketball player, and your mom was a volleyball player. Even though they're very far away from you, how are they helping you cope while you were in Manila and they are in Cebu?
Siyempre, every time nadadown ako, tinatawagan naman ako ni Mama. Minomotivate niya ako. It's part talaga lahat ng struggles na nadaanan ko, it's part talaga sa pangarap na gusto ko. So, lagi naman ako remind ni Mama disiplina ko, maging competitive ko sa game, yung studies ko rin. Alam mo, dyan naman siya lagi talaga, kahit na malayo kami. Every time sine-check niya naman ako and yung guidance niya, ramdam ko pa rin naman kahit malayo kami sa isa't isa.
And of course, you're now in your sophomore playing years at the University of the Philippines. You're defending a title. And of course, when those college playing days are over, may ambition ka ba na maglaro in another country? Maybe Japan, Korea, Taiwan, or maybe the NBA? Or do you feel that your destiny is here in the Philippines?
Siguro, open naman ako sa opportunities. Playing abroad is different opportunities naman yung mabibigay sa akin. If I have a chance to play in abroad, siguro gagrab ko rin yung opportunity na yun. Kasi lahat naman ng player nagtatrabaho, pinaghihirapan araw-araw yung pagtitraining para maabot yung pangarap nila. And I think if you have opportunities overseas na tingin mo makakatulong sa'yo sa family mo, siguro gagrab ko pa yung opportunity na yun.
And that kind of program, no, we're also seeing in a lot of other countries, like in Spain, in Argentina, and in Africa. They send their players outside of their country to be better skilled, to be better players. So when they play for the national team, they bring with them best practices, no, and the skills from other countries. Hindi ba, Carl?
Yes po. Definitely kasi sa basketball kasi there's different culture every country. There's different style of basketball brand every country. So I think overseas, syempre, more athletic players, yung challenges na mahaharap mo dun sa ibang bansa, alam mo yun, maging competitive ka talaga pagdating every time na mag-represent ka ng country mo. Sanay ka na nakalaban mo mga international. So, I think malaking bagay yun na, alam mo yun, may expose ka sa ibang country or ibang basketball brand na ibang bansa kasi iba rin yung style nila sa paglalaro. And I think halos lahat naman ng pumunta na ibang bansa para mag-basketball, nag-improve naman sila.
You are being managed by the Virtual Playground Sports Management Group. How do you want them to help you in your basketball career today and going forward?
Yung virtual gina-guide nila ako lagi. Especially kasi I think yung virtual kasi sila nag-handle ng marketing ko. Pag may mga offers, yun po yung ginagawa nila, sila na po ang umaasikaso para yung focus ko lang po is basketball lang. Wala po akong ibang iniisip. And lagi naman po binibigyan nila ko ng best for me. And siguro malaking bagay siya kasi instead of mag-isip ako ng mga offers sa ibang lugar, sila na po ang nag-aasikaso para nakafocus lang ako sa basketball po. And so far, lahat ng best naman po na para sa akin, binibigyan naman po nila para sa akin.
Carl, good luck on the upcoming UAAP basketball season. Thank you for this athlete exchange. Carl Tamayo of UAAP basketball champions, the UP Fighting Maroons. And straight ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. Trying to make a profit in sports is no simple feat. We talk about how athletes make financial gains with Virtual Playground Sports Management Company. You're watching CNN Philippines. News you can trust. Welcome back right here on the exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. Sports is also a business which management agencies know all too well. How could the local sports scene become more profitable and help drive the economy? Let's now have an exchange with Virtual Playground Sports Management Company CEO, Charlie D. Charlie, thank you so much again for joining us on the exchange. People call you the Jerry Maguire of the Philippines. And when you say Jerry Maguire, show me the money. So when an athlete comes to you and says, can you be my sports agent? What do you tell them? What do you ask them?
Well, first, thanks for having me again. Well, if there's an athlete who approaches me, the first thing is to check, their credentials. I have to make sure that they're really up to par, because most especially right now, that most of the players are going internationally, playing, in other countries, and just like other fields. Once they have a good offer, definitely they'll take a look at it, and it's an opportunity actually.
So, Charlie, do you also take a look at the attitude, the personality, and not only the talent of the athlete before you accept them into your management company?
Yeah, definitely. Because I coached before. I started as a coach. So my criteria is I have to like them to be part of my team for me to manage them. So attitude is very important because, it's so hard to deal with players who have attitude, because to help them get into a team, it's going to be difficult also because, they have to interact with, their teammates and coaches. So that's also a priority, to check their attitude.
And Charlie, you have indeed a very large team of athletes, more than 100 in different sporting disciplines: basketball, volleyball, MMA, obstacle course race, taekwondo, swimming. I mean, how do you handle all of these athletes? Do you also take care of contract negotiations?
Yes, I take care of all the contract negotiations, but I have staff. I have an assistant for basketball, assistant for volleyball, for entertainment, and also for social media, because it's growing. I have an office in BGC, and I have a staff of 10 people in my office.
And how do you know, Charlie, what is a fair contract for a player and for the professional team that they will be joining?
Well, one is, based on their skill set, based on their followers, because that's very important also nowadays, because teams also check, if they're bankable, if it's really like marketing tool for their company. So that's one thing that I check.
So, Charlie, is it also very important when negotiating a contract, the popularity of the athlete, if he also has X number of followers on social media?
Yes, actually, sir, right now, that's one of the criteria of teams, most especially foreign teams. When they get players, they check their social media followers. Because because right now in Japan, in the B League, they're getting Filipino players because they realize getting Filipino players adds up to the number of people watching their games.
So basically, it's a combination of skill and social media reach. That's why the B League teams of Japan hire our talented Filipino basketball players. Do you also negotiate endorsement contracts for your athletes, Charlie?
We do, yeah. We do negotiate for the endorsement contracts of all our athletes, from the micro to the macro influencers.
So you're
There's a lot
proactive.
of opportunities.
Are you proactive in finding them endorsements or events where they can earn, extra cash?
Yes, we do, sir. We talk to a lot of brands, to get them endorsements, even with all the platforms. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for all these athletes with social media.
What's key here, Charlie, is that you help a lot of athletes improve their lives. Does your group also manage their money? Because athletes should also know where to invest their hard-earned savings.
Well, sir, we guide them, but because I think it's different with the Filipino culture. They don't want us to interfere with their finances, but we guide them, we advise them. Actually, well, I check, try to check with their finances, if they're saving for the future, because that's very important.
Yeah, because athletes also don't have a long shelf life when it comes to their respective competition. I mean, there are many risks when you're an athlete, particularly injuries, which could be short-term, medium-term, or could basically end their careers. So they really need advice and guidance when it comes to saving and investing their hard-earned money.
Yes, because the difference with Filipinos and our Western counterpart is here, they have their parents or their wife who interferes with, all the finances, so we just try to advise them on whether it's a good investment or not, but it's always their family who's there, to guide them.
And of course, it's very important, no, their future. And now we see a lot of basketball and volleyball players not only competing here in the Philippines, but also abroad. Would you encourage our local athletes to look for greener pastures abroad rather than just stay here in the country to improve their craft as athletes?
Yes, sir. Honestly, I believe, playing overseas will help them improve a lot, in terms of their skill set and exposure, because like if you just play locally without competing with other, basketball countries, it's so hard to improve on your own. That's why, there's always an opportunity for growth, just like what Spain is doing now, with their national team. So I think we have to follow that route and, help them grow also.
Thank you so much, Charlie, for this Sports Business Exchange. Virtual Playground Sports Management CEO, Charlie D. And this is the exchange. We make sense of the facts and the figures and the ups and downs of the business cycle, because your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. Thanks for watching CNN Philippines. News you can use, news you can trust.